part 2. I continue with Rolex, which I started with part 1. It's windy today, so few things, few difficulties here. So these are the brands I'm going to present to you. A few of them are interesting, and you may watch the video part 1 with the other brands. It's a 1-hour video long. I think it's interesting. So again, I'm filming close up each model, not all of them, but the ones that I find more striking. So as always, there's a small description of the history of the company. It's very interesting, the details, the technical novelties in those times. So again, this is an old catalog, actually not too old, but it's about vintage watches, mostly luxury ones, and it gives you the pricing, but also movement and a few details. So Rolex, let's have a look. Image is not perfect, it's as much as I can film with a handheld camera. So you may want again to pause on each the moments on the video and just maybe have a better look and read as well the information. Notice the price tag for Rolex watches. Just like in the first video, this is going to be from around 19, depends, most of the watches 1940s and up to usually 70s, but sometimes later than this. But we do have for a few brands watches as old as about 1920s or so. I'm not a watch specialist in any way. I do like mechanical watches, and most of these are mechanical, either hand wind, either automatic. We are not really in the quartz watch era here. These are photographs of collectors items, right? So someone had collections, someone took pictures, so it's not all the pictures that are high quality, so I apologize for the quality of the image. Also the light here is not easy to film for me. My camera is not high-end, so you have this kind of limitations, but I think you can still get an idea of beautiful details. And if you don't mind me, I'll keep commenting. You may turn the audio off if you find it irrelevant or annoying, my comments. 1930, very nice design for 1930. I don't know about the precision of each movement, but very interesting, the adjusting. Yes, in the previous video I was comparing this quickly with Omega brand, or Omega. I don't say it very well, I guess, because I don't know how to pronounce each name, but always look at the date at the top here and notice the sizes are not big. These are not big watches, because we are talking really old watches. We are going back in the history, basically almost 80 to 100 years ago, when the overall case dimension was fairly small, around 30, 34, 35, but we don't have, almost never, watches into the 40 millimeter wide case size. And I will compare this to the Omega brand, which Omega, it's less, there is the dial, it's less complicated, less details, is more, if you want less information on the Omega. Rolex on the other side, it's very full. Look at this beauty, it's so beautiful. And there is no doubt that 1934. I'm watching the video, I'm watching as I'm filming on my screen. So if I watch like this, I didn't see the date. Now I did move and see 34. It's just, I can't believe it. This looks like at least 70s or so. That's how advanced or futuristic you can call it, this display looks, and it was pre-era before the Second World War. It's just incredible. One of the first chronograph with 30-minute counter, slightly bigger too. Wow, quite amazing. And you can tell that these are in collections. These have been very well preserved, or maybe even restored, I guess, also oftentimes. But again, most of these watches are watches that have been worn previously. And they were not here, but in other models. Sometimes there's a line saying this watch has never been worn, but I've seen that line once. So I'm assuming the rest have been worn watches, and again, perhaps at least clean it and restored sometimes. Especially given the value of these watches, it's not surprising. And again, Rolex to me, it definitely it looks like more complex watches, but also more full with information. The dial compared to the Omega brand. Very nice. I guess the date, I don't know, I would say by the size it could be around 30s or 49. Very nice. And there must be some complications. And you see gold 14, you can tell the, oops, that's my camera, sometimes it gives off focus. Give it a few seconds. And I need to keep drinking water as well. 65, beautiful gold color. Not going to again film everything, but these are harder to see the displays when it's black, but just kind of selecting the ones that look more striking to me. So it's not, I'm not choosing them because of the technical specifications, but rather about the look. That's as much as I know about these watches myself. So sometimes it's just beautiful to see the details. You can tell the ring here. There's a name for it, but let's see. No, bezel. That's the right name. I apologize. I'm not into watches. If you want, just for how nice they look. That's why I'm doing this. But the details here must be very nice to see in real life. There's limitations because of the 1982 of the photography on them. Not sure if you can tell what's writing in there. So this 18 karat gold, so it's a higher degree of gold purity, I guess, and must have been quite expensive back in time. These are the prices, market prices, so second hand if you want, not the new ones, new units, used units, worn used unit. And these prices are again from 2000, just rounded up 2010. We are in 2025. I don't know what the value is, and also I'm just guessing this is value for American market. And let's just see one more here on this page. Just like I was mentioning in the other part, in part one, it's definitely you don't see the beauty of the item product through a single photo. It's impossible. I'm very sure in real life you will notice the glass itself, the shape of the glass, the polish of it. It must be much more rewarding to keep this watch in your own hands in real life than watch a single photo, but this is just the limitation. Very nice design. Oh, 1930s, wow. There was a brand here who had up to, I believe, 30 jewels, hopefully I'm saying right, 30, and because it's a high-end brand, I don't remember which one was it. I think all those jewels were actual jewels, I mean true pivots if you want, not just for the number like it's on cheap watches if you want. Sometimes they kind of put bigger numbers to impress the buyer, but those cheaper watches, many of those jewels are not functional. Very interesting design, clean. (1938). It's, I don't know if my camera, yeah, I think it kind of captures pretty much the way I see it with my own eyes, the photo, but it's just beautiful, beautiful. Ellsworth Observatory model, 29. I guess this has been lug to lug, and 29 the width without the crown. 28, very nice, very interesting design. I think this is gold plated here. We'll look at the details in a moment. Rhodium plated, no, yellow gold. 1940, less striking. Let's see this one. Oyster perpetual chronometer. Original California dial. 49. Interesting. There are quite a few watches for the Rolex brand in this catalog, several pages. I don't know how the collectors are about these models. Don't remember exactly the name of this kind of shape. Personally, I like this shape. It's from the 30s, I think, 20s, 30s usually. But I don't know how priced are they today. Usually it's going to be a fairly slim watch width-wise, so it's not really wide. It looks very interesting. Looks like the glass is double dome, perhaps. It has a dome around, and it's a center dome as well. It's definitely saying luxury watch. (1932). Very interesting. 18 karat red gold, small size, 29 millimeter, extremely rare, double hallmarkers. Ronchi Milano. I'm spending more time on Rolex than on other brands because I think it does offer sorry, just adjusting my position. It does offer quite a variety of models, but also it's very striking. The appearance of these watches, the looks are just worth spending more time, or basically one, showing more of them. Very interesting. There is this movie King Kong, I don't know which one, with Black Jack, I think that's the name of the actor, and he is wearing one of these watches, not this one, but the shape, kind of rectangular shape. It's a very clean watch here. Precision, extremely rare. Let's keep going. From what I've seen here, most in this catalog are going to be males watches. I don't remember, but it doesn't say here male, female, women's. But maybe this would be for women, maybe by the looks, maybe slightly by the size as well. But oh, here, Mickey Mouse. Let's try to stabilize the camera. Mickey Mouse. Well, 1949. That's about. It was very popular. Disney. Let's look here. This is kind of interesting. I'll show the description. 1949. This is difficult for me to film, so it's a actually it looks on the camera darker, but it's more pale green. Let's see what's in there. Tripartite. What is that? Oh, look at the price. Green enamel. Interesting. So there is a green one. Then this is going to be magenta. Is that magenta? It doesn't say. Oh, upon the request of Indian customer. Wow. I'm going to guess these are unique models, right? There is a blue one. This one, the camera does show the correct color. Blue enamel. Let's see, this one is 54, a classic watch, classic look. Applied gold hour markers. I didn't know. So usually, so this when a watch is gold plated, this one says that the hour markers, the stars, are applied gold. I don't know what that means. Is it full gold or just plated gold markers? But I didn't know that other watches which are gold, the markers are not made in gold. So I don't know, maybe you correct me on this. So this one says gold, but it doesn't say that the markers are also gold, the numbers, digits. Let's move on. Perpetual, they date 60, yes. 1960, rose gold. Let's have a look. Let me just try to not to place here. Yes, it's better. I think these are, we see them among the most common models perhaps on eBay. You correct me, this is just my quick approximation, like my experience on eBay. Superlative chronometer by official test. Serpico and Nino. Very nice design. Beautiful gold. Yes, we got a few mopeds, scooters. Very nice. Look at the two colors, blue and gold. And the hands also gold. Sweet looking, definitely. For some reason, if you don't mind me throwing this in there, it's just me. For some reason, I prefer manual winding watches. Automatic are fine. Just my opinion. Yeah, right. It's nothing important. I just keep talking. Automatic are fine, but I like the simplicity of mechanism when it's simple. Of manual winding, and also I think from what I read that manual watches, quality ones, may be more accurate, keep better time than the automatic one, at least from older years. Maybe modern automatics are better, more improved, better in time, but automatic also, it kind of, you need to keep it pretty recharged, loaded, the spring. If it's not so loaded, half loaded, then it may lose in accuracy. So that's another reason why. And also I prefer just usually not to bulky, not too thick watches. I don't like them thick, but that's really just, I'm talking just for the sake of it, right? Everybody has a different taste. 65, why does it kind of recall me of Russian Soviet era stars, but also perhaps the United States flag? Precision. 53. Now with the precision dragon on dial, quite impressive, very interesting. Let's move a bit. Oyster Perpetual True Beat, officially certified. Look at this, it's just, I don't know, it's so well done, It's just kind of things that you just keep looking at it. This one the same, and this one also, the glass, it's try to imagine it in real life. It's just so nice. $1954. Let me look for other. Let's just pick one of these. Maybe this one. $53. Three-dimensional structure dial. So it's still Rolex, and I think this is the last page of Rolex here. This one also quite a classic that we see on eBay. 27 jewels, the plating, 6 positions. You notice the years don't follow, so it's like jumps from 80, 60, 30, so it's not by the year. I don't know how they choose to put these things together. Very interesting crown, and this makes it much easier to wind and adjust, but also sometimes it gets into your skin, depends how big the crown is, so it may not be that comfortable sometimes. And interesting, I think here 47 I could see some mistakes sometimes, but I think this is right, 47. So there are a few errors in the text sometimes, but 47 looks very big for 1938. Oh, it's Panerai, okay. Is that Panerai display dial? The dial doesn't appear to be marked, and they say it's a prototype. It's not surprising, the price. Combat driver watch, Italian Navy. Okay, so if you have this in your collection, don't sell it. 77. Wow, look at the gold and black. 18 karat gold, so it's a better gold if you want. There's another Panerai. Let's try it. Oyster Perpetual. This one, it's I think it's pretty much a classic, at least now 2025. It's one of the most common seen. And let's go for this one with, let me just read, Radiomir. So Panerai did 1943, during the war, Second World War. Panerai did mix, I don't exactly know what chemistry is, but it says in this catalog, and they got the luminescent hands and the dial for divers. And this is one of the parts that made them successful. The other part was using Rolex movements. I did film Panerai also in the first part. 1954, this is interesting because I think it kind of, this is a bit the beginning of this kind of hands and dial. It's very old, early oyster cage model with rotating bezel. Another classic, 1953. Turnograph, rivet, Rolex steel bracelet. Yeah, we don't have information about the bracelets, and that's sad because it's part of the watch. I mean, the original bracelets, the genuine ones. But hey, that's not included here in this catalog. Okay, another classic, I think. Sweet looking, definitely 60s. James. So this is again the last, wow, I don't know the date, 60s, 70s, oh, 50, wow, incredible, 50, crazy. 10,000 US dollars. $20,000 for Panam, less than 200 pieces. Last two Rolex watches and 61 Submariner. Very beautiful, look at this. Let me look past the camera, it's so nice to look at it. It's just great. Wow. Hey, turning the page now. Tissot. I tried to film a few of them. Let's go for this one. Yeah, 1935. Very quite impressive dial though. Say classic one, 1940. Salvage watch of the German army. Wow. Okay. I don't know if they were giving this to the officers, I guess, right? Or maybe the soldiers too. Notice the crown is very thin. 45. The Wehrmacht watch. So let's film this one too because it's so beautiful. When I watch this behind the camera on the camera screen, I just kind of sometimes I wonder why aren't the hands moving? That's how real it looks and beautiful at the same time. I don't know. I just feel like spending more time watching it, but then I have to move on. Red gold. Wow, look at this. Hello. Sometimes my camera is shifting the colors. not oftentimes, but 1940. A very clean design, clean, clean, clean. 1950. Manual winding. Look at this watch here. How stunning it is. I like the glass being almost the size of the case. 45. Only $800. Wow. So there are more of them. Let me just move to more like different ones. This one, fairly big, 69. Doesn't say the size. Look at this guy here. Wow. Quite impressive. I don't. Cairo. Okay, so it's a world clock. So gold hammer, word reference city names. There are also sometimes watches with alarm here. For those less familiar, the mechanical watches also had alarms. Some of them, obviously. I don't know if the automatic wind ones, but surely the hand wind ones, the manual wind ones, some of them had them alarms, and I recommend you go on YouTube or other video platform and just search manual wind up alarm watch and just listen, because it's worth listening. It's very interesting. It's simply just a couple of extra gears and a small bell if you want that hits, and it's impressive. Lemania caliber. Look at this ship of the this is black on black. It's harder to film properly, but 70. Unworn. This is what I was talking about, unworn. But most of the times I think they are not boxed ones. Tudor. Hopefully I did pronounce it well. Tudor. Very classic looks. Let's pick one, maybe this one looks very nice, very nice. Kind of remembers me of the Panerai for some reason, but in a different case. Right, a bit of Rolex in there perhaps, I don't know. Let's pick this one. Quite colored dial. I toss it to get a better view. 80 Valjoux. And there's also always, like I said, an interesting information in the text itself. Universal Genève. Let's film a few of this. Maybe this one. Don't look like very expensive watches. Were for collectors. Actually, this one is cheaper. This next ones are going to be more expensive. Great, beautiful. 48. Wow. Post-war. So 45mm wide, quite big. Great looking alligator strap. It's this one. My camera doesn't give you the correct. Oh no, that's how the photo is, not too good. Saudi Arabia. Kings wanted personalized watches. 45. Very nice white dial. Love this color. When it's well done, it looks great. Still Universal Genève. Look at this beauty here. As much as the picture can tell, it's great. Wow, so good looking. Universal Genève. This looks a bit like a crowd for a pocket watch. A bit difficult to film this one. 1940. It's they do look quite different than other brands. A busy dial. Very interesting. Look at the digit shape. Great. (1945). For a 1945, so this is basically the end of Second World War. This looks just like 2020 watch to me. I don't see the difference. Exceptionally large pilot watch chronograph. 55 millimeter wide. Hello. Wow. Crazy. So pilots, plane pilots, for those who don't know, they had during the war, so obviously there were no computers back then, so they had a certain, not just war pilots, but pilots generally speaking, they had a certain amount of fuel, basically kerosene, and a certain distance to travel. There was no GPS or anything, so you don't really, I think, back then, we are talking right about 30s, 40s, 50s, the navigation must be done correctly, or you may be lacking fuel, and the time measurement was critical. That's why it was so important, I think, these pilot watches for them. It was a whole very important market where accuracy, I don't think was that. Maybe there were scenarios where accuracy was important, but high accuracy, but reliability and measuring distance and time, calculating sometime with the rotating bezels were important important aspects of watches for those pilots. Again, this is Universal Genève, 1945. Some watchmaker did specialize on chronograph right from the start of the production. Look at this dial, so nice. Interesting. I don't know what the red numbers are here. 1940 for the war, yes. For directors and camera people. Oh, okay. So this was for the movie industry. That's quite special. Clean dial, very nice. Look how easy it is to read the hour. Yeah, very easy. Very natural too. nice strap color. So the page goes on with Universal Genève. Price is not too high, not too low either. Roman digits, very interesting. Even just by the photo, this dial looks great, gorgeous. Very fine details. Look at this, the leather here. Let's pick two more. This one, 1950 gold compass chronograph. I do not know what that means, but maybe people know better. Let's see this one here, very interesting. Not the best light, let's toss it. $45. And a very nice one coming, $68. Crazy dog. I don't know, it's not white the dial, it's something else. Pearl-like. And the striking blue, dark black paint around it. Superb looking watch. Even the belt strap is black. The, the, the contrast between the two colors is just great. I don't know if this may be the kind of watch I would just, it's not, I don't really necessarily have a preference for black, but it is just catches your attention and kind of keep looking at it. Okay, these are very interesting looking dials, very interesting. 1950. There are a few of them. I just give you a different color here. 48, 68. Let's try this one. 45. Wow, 45. Crazy. And maybe this one, last one. $48. Moving on to Vacheron Constantin. These are not the priciest ones, but I don't know, today my memory, I just have that these are pricey watches. Maybe the prices did increase since then. I don't know. They look from the photo very refined dials, smooth looking and classy too. Let's try this one. This is like gold dial or so. Yeah. I think it's alligator skin, so not a cheap watch, I guess. Back in the days, 1940, during the war, it was quite daring to sell such expensive watches during the war. Okay, we have several models here. 1945. Extremely rare sporty chronograph, telemeter, tachymeter scales. Very classy design. How beautiful this is. the case. Look at the shape, but the looks are different than the competition. Another very classy, a very different design, quite surprising, stunning. Let's move on. Maybe this one here. 33. Let me show you something different. Depends on the taste. It's more like no, that's not the name. Venetian blind technology. Crazy. This is refined. I don't know how it looks in the image, but if you look at the details, notice it doesn't look ordinary. Next, then go. Okay. Well, if you like gold, and this case does have a certain amount of it. I cannot read from the camera what's writing on dial, but it's certainly striking. Wow, 1922. So is this again the time for the Great Depression? I think this is about the last years before the Great Depression, right? 1920s, where the people were kind of spending, well, not the regular persons, but let's see something else here. They look slightly like regular watches. I'm sure they are not, but this is more about the looks. 43. Interesting dial here, although I wouldn't call this an easy to read watch. Let's move on. (1948). And I'll show you just like this the rest of them. Quite classy looking, nothing that stands out, at least not from the photo. Look at this ruby bearings. Okay. That sounds like an expensive movement. Again, a certain amount of gold, I think, in such watches. Striking looking. Let's try this one, looks better. Especially the glass. Then this looks like, is that Skagen? I don't know if I pronounce it well. This looks like a watch with a brand that it's very cheap. Well, cheap. Let's compare to these watches. Let's try 2 or 3 more. 1969. This is a chronometer. $60. I'm just looking because there doesn't appear to be a button for the chronometer. So same for this one. It says rare chronometer, but there is no second button for chronometer operation. So this is also Vacheron again, Vacheron Constantin. I'll show you a few of them. 52. Let's move faster here. So most of them pretty much the same type of dial case. at least to my eyes. Let's try this one, the last one. 63. And that's the end of it. Oh no, Vulcan. Hold on, there's another one. Is there another one? Okay, I had Vulcan. Oh, there's a few more. So Vulcan. 1925, right? You notice the year. Interesting watch here. Okay, this is a alarm watch. Which is quite early for a alarm watch, I think. And they don't appear to be so expensive for collectors. Double sounding, again, alarm watch. Are those? And, I think those are the only. Oh no, there's other alarm watches. This one also is alarm. So several of those are alarm watches. Let's look. Interesting dial. Let's see the explanation. Another alarm watch. A TV, is that a TV watch? 1970. Alarm watch again. This has a nice case. Alarm, I guess. And the last booking. Various decompression times. So let's see, I got Zenith and Walkman Gigantic. Walkman, I'm going to go slightly fast. Okay, one of these. An interesting dial here. And maybe two more. 1975, last one. 75 as well. Let's move to Zenith, which appears to be a nice gentleman. Is that, I would say, maybe French brand? Yep, 1920. And maybe let's take one more. Nice dial. And let's take one more Zenith. The picture is not so clear. And this is it. I will perhaps do one more, maybe Cartier, one last part in a different video. I think it's Cartier. I wanted to show more. Yes, Cartier. I like this kind of watches. Well, the looks of them. So one extra video for Cartier, and this should be